Hi everybody, my name is Krista Loos. I'm one of the registered dietitians here at KSB. And today for our November nutrition topic of the month, I wanted to talk about eating for energy. So overview, we'll kind of dive into some of those macronutrients and the role of each of them. We'll talk a little bit about blood sugar balance and building a more substantial kind of snack. And then we'll run through what some of those snack ideas look like. So jumping into macronutrients. So we have carbohydrates, fat, and protein. Carbohydrates are our body's preferred energy source. So these carbs break down to glucose or sugar. And that is what our body really likes to use as energy. It's our most efficient energy source. It is our brain's primary energy source. So our brain runs entirely on glucose, and carbohydrates should be about 45 to 65% of our intake. And then just kind of a few, carbohydrate-rich foods. So some of our grain products we naturally think of: bread, rice, pasta, our beans, lentils. We have some starchy veggies like potatoes, peas, corn, winter squash, and then also some of our fruits do have some carbohydrates. They're not the most carbohydrate dominant food, but they do provide us with some of those carbs. Then we have fat. Our body utilizes this for lower intensity activities, so it's not our most efficient energy source, but it's what our body's gonna want to use if we're, doing our kind of daily living activities. This should be about 20 to 35% of our intake. Some of those kind of fat-rich foods: avocados, nuts, seeds, dairy products, vegetable oils, olive oil. We want kind of a variety of all of these. Then we have protein. This is our body's last resort for energy, so it's a really inefficient fuel for us. If our body does not have enough carbohydrates or fat, then it's going to break down our muscle mass to use that as energy. Our body doesn't really want to do that. It wants to maintain that muscle mass, maintain that strength, but it will kind of do that if it has to. And protein should be about 15 to 30% of our intake. Some protein-rich foods, kind of our animal products we think of: chicken, beef, pork, eggs, dairy products. Some of our plant sources like grains, beans, soy products like tofu or edamame. Then, kind of the importance of pairing combinations with meals and snack times. So, like I said, carbohydrates are preferred energy source, really efficient fuel, so we can break that down really quickly and use it for energy really quickly, which can be great, but in some instances we might want a more sustained energy source. So kind of backing up, our number one thing for energy is food is our body's primary energy source. So we need enough of that energy coming in. And so if we're being strategic with having that food kind of sustain us for as long as possible and create the most kind of consistent energy, we want to have these four things at meal times and snacks. So carbs, fat, protein, and fiber. So fat, protein, and fiber are all a little bit slower digesting. This can help reduce some of those spikes in blood sugar when we pair them with carbohydrates. So they create a more gradual increase in blood sugar, and they create a more gradual decrease in blood sugar. So, one example, if we didn't have fat, protein, and fiber, would be if we're, Halloween's kind of right around, kind of right now, even though we'll be kind of talking about this in November. But if we're consuming some of the Halloween candy, a lot of carbohydrates there, which is great for energy, but we can often think of that big kind of sugar crash. And that's because we might be missing some of that fat, protein, and fiber to help sustain that energy. And so looking at some of those snack examples that have kind of these pairing combinations in mind: apple with string cheese. So the apple's going to provide some of that carbohydrate, some of that fiber, and then string cheese is going to provide some of that protein and fat. cheese and crackers, yogurt ranch dip and veggies with crackers or chips. We could do like a trail mix where, again, nuts, we have protein and fat, and then we add in some dried fruit and chocolate for some of that carbohydrate piece, fiber with some of that dried fruit. We could do peanut butter toast and banana. We could go Greek yogurt with fruit and granola. Some that aren't on this list, with kind of, again, keeping those holiday foods in mind, especially as we're coming up on Thanksgiving and Christmas. We want those to be a part of our everyday. If we're trying to avoid or restrict those, it's going to create, more desire there, kind of this rebellious teenager coming out to say, like, I want those foods even more now that I told myself I wasn't allowed to have them. And so make it a part of your everyday snack or everyday lunch. That could look like, maybe snack time is a cookie and a string cheese, or maybe for breakfast, let's say cinnamon rolls is something that is a holiday tradition for your family to make. Maybe it's a cinnamon roll with Greek yogurt and fruit and granola. So being strategic with those combinations, so we have those fun foods that we love to eat paired with those foods that we know help us feel energized and sustain that energy. If there's any kind of questions at all about maintaining energy levels throughout the day, how to support blood sugar throughout the day, please feel free to shoot me an email. I'm happy to help navigate any of those questions. As always, thank you, KSB Community and Wellness, for hosting these nutrition topics. And then stay tuned for next month's topic with Jade, our other dietitian. Thank you.